music. Hold on. Hey everybody, welcome to TLDChat. It's Monday morning. Welcome. It's Monday morning and I am actually back at Casa de Schlenker, no longer in the Iowa bomb shelter, and ready for a fresh week. Nothing like the week from last week, but good to see everybody here in the chat already. Monday morning. Everybody, since today, for those of you who know about the rings of focus, Monday mornings we like to talk about you, but when we have guests, we like to talk about whatever we want because our guests are always fabulous. So we've got a fantastic guest lined up for you, but you know what? I'm just going to tease it and leave it right there for now. While I tell you a little bit about TLDChat, we are the Training, Learning, and Development Chat, Conference, and Community. And it is the place to be for professional development for those of us doing the work of training, learning, and development. And what that means is you do not have to be or have the title of training or learning and development in order to be learning how to be better at training and learning and development. If you're a manager, if you're a product manager, you probably have some training needs. If you're maybe just a developer, maybe you're a game designer, maybe you're looking for different ways to sell your products or your skills. Maybe you're a small division within a larger company and you're the product guy or you're the engineer responsible for training everybody else on the new product. Hey, listen, you are doing training, period. So that means just about everybody these days. 21st century corporate workplace is all about not only being a learner, but being a teacher as well. We are all both teacher and learner. And so we are here to help you become better at both. So we are the Training, Learning, and Development community. And that's why we're here to talk about all those things and everything related to it. And it's a broad topic. So that's why we're here every morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time, and 4 p.m. Marco Ficini time. Hello, Marco. Freshly back from the beach. You know, you need a new icon to show off the new tan there, Marco. I'm certain you got some good sun while you were there. I saw all of the fantastic pictures. So 4 p.m. UK time. So it's happy hour for you guys, and it's breakfast and coffee for the rest of us over here in the States. And so that is where we're at. Don't forget to become a member. Hit up the TLDC.us and become a member and help support all the infrastructure and the work required to bring you guys extra value every single day of the week, Monday through Friday. So, hello everybody. Delia, good to see you. I've not seen you in a while. Fantastic. Good to see you in the chat. Sarah's here. Everybody's here. So we can go ahead and get started since we've got our European representation. Thank you, Marco, for jumping in. I like to kind of pause and wait till we at least have one other person from outside of North America. So we're clear for takeoff, and that means I can introduce you all to our wonderful and fantastic guest. This is his second time on TLDChat. Everybody give a nice warm welcome to Andrew Hughes.
Hey, everybody. How are you guys doing? Huh? Look at you. Sound effects? This is a whole new level.
No, it's not really. Everybody makes fun of me. Nobody likes my soundboard, but
I like your soundboard. I think that puts it up on just a whole other level. So
okay, cool. I appreciate that. You know, I take a lot of heat for the soundboard. So, you know, maybe it's because I might use this too much. Oh, wait.
The silent button? I wish I had that.
Or this one.
Oh, I like that one. Every time I say a bad word, we can just dub that over. I like it.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh my gosh, where this cool soundboard? All right, we'll be on the soundboards for an hour. So if anybody wants to come back,
yeah, special effect. Yeah. How can we relate soundboards to e-learning? That's what we're going to talk about. No, we're not going to talk about that at all. Hey, you know what? Some of these folks actually probably don't know who the amazing and wonderful Andrew Hughes is. So you should go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us all of the cool things that you do.
Yeah, sure. I'm Andrew Hughes. I'm the president of Designing Digitally. We are a studio of 18 full-time employees, a brick and mortar studio in between Cincinnati and Dayton, Ohio. A lot of our work, well, all of our work is based around training, learning and development. We have 3 sectors. Our corporate is the majority of our work, government, and university grant projects. Things like NIH grants, so on and so forth. We have 4 core competencies: e-learning, training simulations, mobile learning, and serious games. And we also have an R&D team, which works on things like Microsoft Connect builds, VR builds, which we go live today actually on Steam for our first learning and training game, and it'll be one of the first training games on Steam currently. So we'll be one of the first to hit that, and that is today. So woohoo!
Nice. Hey, congratulations on that, man. That's fantastic.
Thank you, man. It's called VR Chop and Drop. We actually were working with a client to develop.
Is that the chainsaw one?
Yeah, it goes live today, man. So you guys will be able to download it. It's completely free for anybody to use. So we are not costing anyway. If you got a VR machine in Steam, it'll be free as of today to download and play. And basically, it was an R&D project that we did with a partnering company because they work on electrical lines and they wanted to be able to see if there was a way to train their employees hands-on. So we actually developed out that VR experience. And luckily, we are now just putting it out free to the public so that we can help push the envelope of what you can do with immersive learning and training, and not just use VR for VR fun. So you'll see it should be coming out. Oh, look, did Kara already run and go get it and find it?
I was just going to say, where's there we go.
Kara just in the chat shared the green light. So we got green lighted a couple months ago, which means Steam and the community approved your project to allow you to actually be in Steam in the community. And then from there, we got green lit, and now we had to set up everything with Steam to make sure that Chop and Drop was ready to rock and roll. And so they had to do testing. We had to do testing and revisions. And now that it was approved, today is the launch date that it'll be going live on Steam. I think it's today at like 1. So, and it's going to be for $0. And basically what it is teaches you how to effectively cut down trees in a residential neighborhood. Since you're an electrical line worker, you are responsible for tree removal. And so you have to be able to learn how to do it without damaging people's property or making the tree limbs that you cut fall on personal property, and also how those limbs will actually grow over time, depending on how you cut them, to ensure that they don't get back into the electrical lines. And then you're competing for accuracy, correct ways of cutting and tending to the lines, and then also speed. And then there's a high scoreboard, so people will be able to compete against each other and see how well they actually know how to do this. And it's not just, hack and slash, cut away. There's actually a process that you'll need to be doing, and it's based off of those learning and instruction material that you find from the actual electrical line workers on how to effectively cut the trees around the electrical lines. So that's basically it. What's funny is we brought this up, and I'm sounding like a jerk right now because I totally forgot we're going live today until I looked down and it was the 21st, and I have a notification here on my desk that says we're going live with Steam on the 21st. So it'll be a downloadable, I think, at 1 o'clock today. Cool. So you'll be able to, I'm sorry, Mike. Yeah, we held off because we wanted to make sure that we didn't have any more glitches. Just because it's free, it does represent us. So we took and did a couple more sprints on it before we decided to throw it out to the public.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, we showed, I think we showed YouTube video of it last time. It was last time you were here. I guess it was, you guys were just, finishing up the main parts of it, and we were showing it off and showing what we can, use virtual reality for, and these types of, training physical processes and utilizing VR for stuff like this. I mean, it may seem like, well, you know, do you really need VR for this? But when you go in and when you play this game, it absolutely, I mean, obviously it's not exactly like wielding a chainsaw, right? But at least like you get the idea of what you can do, and the repetition is so good to be able to, you know, go through the process as many times as you can before you ever get to a tree. You know, it's I think it's fantastic.
You made a good point there, and this is the thing that people really negate about VR and immersive learning. That we're not trying to teach them how or how to use a chainsaw or how to cut through a tree, but how to cut that tree down to prevent damage, property loss, or property damage, loss of equipment, loss of someone that's actually in a boom truck, getting them hurt, and also looking at it for what to cut for later, so that the tree continues to grow without killing the resident's tree, but at the same time ensuring that it doesn't hit the lines. So there's learning happening here. It's just sometimes people might look at this and go, well, do we really need this, like you're saying, to learn how to cut a tree? Well, it's not you learning how to cut a tree. It's learning how you should properly be trimming that tree so that you don't have issues later.
Yeah, as well, and it's the decision making, right? I mean, that's the part that I think people forget about. It's not like, do I know how to start the chainsaw, and do I know how to hold it, and do I know how to put the chainsaw up against something and cut it safely? It's bigger than that. It's like you were saying. I mean, it's the idea of, okay, you're gonna cut this tree. You already know how to do that, but have you thought about the surrounding area? Like before you actually start to make that cut and use that chainsaw that you should already know how to use, you know, have you looked around? You know, when you know, are you cutting it? Are you like, when you're cutting it, are you standing right underneath the branch, right? You know, no, you don't want to be there. You know, what else is under where it might possibly fall? How do you figure that out? You know, is there property around there? And then to your point too, I hadn't even thought about this, but, you know, cutting it in such a way that it grows back differently, right? Away from those power lines. I hadn't even thought of that, but that's brilliant.
Well, that's the thing, and as we know as educators, and I say educators, I don't care, you know, if you're a training director or CLO or you know, a high school teacher. We're all educators. We're educating people. That's the goal. And so I look at that, and I think when we really analyze something, there's only so much more to the learning that we don't see on the surface. So that's just a great example of like what the actual goal was, not necessarily just cutting the tree down. And some people get it, some people don't. Now, to shift that, I have some tech questions asked. So I love talking tech because my undergrad is interactive media and my graduate's in MBA. So I get to talk tech, but I get to talk business at the same time. So I love it. So for tech, guys, this was built using Maya and using Unity 3D. And then using Steam's VR system and an HTC Vive is what we build it with. And we chose the HTC Vive because it's got a higher fidelity than the Oculus Rift. So it provided a little better response than what we saw from the Oculus. So that's what we primarily built this for. However, you can still use it with the Oculus, no problem at all. But that's what we used. And then it has a MySQL database that saves the data into a database that we're sharing with Steam. And it's not necessarily saving anything other than the user, whatever username you put in your score. So
very cool. So just quick recap. So Maya for the 3D design and the creating of the objects, importing those into Unity.
Yep.
Unity gives you that 3D environment and the interactivity,
yep.
And then into Steam.
Yep, and there's two things. There's the Vive API, and I'm going into programming now because while it seems like that, it's not drag and drop and it's all done. Okay,
okay, good. So, that's why I asked, because I knew there had to be some additional little pieces that you said and done.
Greg, our lead developer, would kill me if I didn't give the details, because he'd be like, stop making it sound so easy. All right, so C#, and you can write in JavaScript also. Here's the thing: you can. It's much more dynamic to write in C#. So you can use C# as what we usually use to write a lot of the Unity code. You can also use JavaScript if you want. If we're going to make calls and make it like we've done this a couple times, where we're going to build something in Unity, export it out to HTML5, and then have it do JavaScript calls so that it can still work within SCORM, which means you got to hand code your SCORM or your AICC or XAPI. You don't have a little cute little button to click, but it's very doable, and we've done it many times. And it's not that hard, actually. It's making a JavaScript call to your manifest files and then having your separate JS file. But I can tell you the C# is a lot of what we use for the development inside of Unity 3D.
Gotcha. Okay, so we got a little bit of C+ inside of Unity D. We've got Maya for 3D stuff, and then you export it out of Unity 3D as a package of some sort, and then take that into Steam.
Yeah, now Steam has a really cool system. Steam allows you to do releases that will, like, you can upload multiples and then tell them what release you want to let out to the public, and it'll automatically update it in Steam for you. So Steam is actually becoming really robust from a system standpoint, a lot farther than our LMSs with importing things into it, that's for sure. Where Steam actually gives you the ability to import and then pick and choose which one you want to release, and then automatically update across everybody's system immediately without changing anything whatsoever. And then you can see all your different releases, and then you can make comments on all those release dates, and then you can, from there, promote those different releases in a different way. So let's say you're going to add like a DLC pack, or we're going to add another level. So we can add another level to that system right now with just uploading a new version, and it'll automatically update to everybody's system that has downloaded that game on Steam, and provide them that second level for them right then and there instantaneously.
Fantastic! It's such a great delivery platform that they've put together. The Steam company, whoever, didn't somebody just buy Steam? Aren't they owned by Microsoft now or something? Or
I have no idea. I haven't even followed it.
Yeah, maybe it's not Microsoft. I don't know, but I thought they merged or something with somebody. Probably somebody in the chat probably knows more than I do. But
I do know that. Just so you guys know, and I'm giving this away, Unity is looking to put together their IPO, so they're going to go.
Okay, so then they're definitely not part of somebody else then.
No, not Unity 3D. I know that.
Oh, not Unity. Yeah, not Unity. Yeah, I was thinking. Yeah, Steam. So cool stuff. Yeah. So all right. So let's move on to some other fun topics for today. This is a great one, and I know everybody's loving geeking out, but I know there's probably a lot of stuff a lot of people in the chat that kind of roll their eyes when we start to geek out a little bit, so maybe a little bit too much. So so let's move on. What else are you up to? What type of stuff you guys doing lately? Like from the L&D side of things.
Yeah. Yep. Well, a couple things. First off, today's my first day back from vacation, and this is my first meeting back from vacation. So if you guys can see this, the caution tape, it's all over my office, and I mean all over you guys can't see it, but my whole office is completely covered. I just posted a link.
Here, I know how they can see it. Hold on one second. I can make you go wide. There we go. Now they can see.
Oh, there you go. See, it's all over the place. I've had to rip half of it down. So we have a very strict rule here at Designing Digitally, and if you interact or answer questions or work during vacation, your office gets TP'd. And so, I got TP'd because I answered some emails. So today's my first day back. If you guys can see the little no, they put these all over the place too. It basically means no, you shouldn't work, because that's my work hat. So when they walk into my office, because I have an open door policy and this is on, don't even ask. So they're everywhere.
That's the don't talk to me right now hat.
That's
Okay,
the don't talk to me right now hat. That is, yeah, I'm in the middle of something. But I did post a video for you guys to take a look at. But it's a great policy, and everyone has to follow it. So I kind of figured I was going to come back knowing that I answered a couple of emails. But what it does is we here at Designing Digitally want to make sure everyone has an actual separation during vacation, because we work insane hours, and it's very much like a advertising studio where the instructional designers are working right beside the graphics people, which are working right beside the programmers, which are working right beside the gamification specialists and the project managers, and they're all huddled together, and it's really crazy. And so we have a couple things that combat that crazy, and that is separation, so you have family and friend time. Things like we don't really have a dress policy. So if you see, I'm in a t-shirt and in mesh shorts and flip-flops, and that is acceptable here at the office as long as the customer isn't coming in. So we have some pretty cool ways of combating the stress that we get from working here.
So what happens if you get a surprise visit from a customer and everybody's dressed totally cash? Do you have a secret stash of suits you can throw all the guys into, and skirt suits for the ladies?
Here's the thing. I can tell you, we've had you would think so, but no, most of the people are very very cool about the dress attire, and the reason why is they're more, I think, not envious, but they might be a little jealous of it.
They just appreciate it probably at the very least. Yeah.
And I make the comment, and this is very true. Your performance here is what matters to us, not what you look like, who you are, what you do, what your social status is. It's 100% about your performance and your ability to go and evolve as an employee. So for us, we don't care what you look like. And now we've had clients that come in. We just had it the other day. We are working with I think you guys might know them. They're one of the largest nonprofits. They're called CareSource. And CareSource actually came into our office, and one of the developers, Brent, was wearing a cutoff shirt, that was showing, well, it wasn't a cutoff. It was kind of like a tank top, and it was showing his arms because he forgot that they were coming in and everybody else was dressed nice. So, they actually, they came up and he was trying to avoid them and hide, and they came up into the studio and we're talking to everybody, and he came running up the steps, and right there they were, and one of the vice president of CareSource goes, "Sun's out, guns out," and turned like 4 shades of red. And I just made the comment, I was like, he forgot to take into consideration that we want performance, and we don't care as long as you look appropriate. And what do we mean by appropriate? No holes, no showing of anything that you shouldn't be. But if you want to wear t-shirts and t-shirt and mesh shorts and flip-flops like I am, and go into an all-team meeting, as long as we don't have customers coming in, you're perfectly fine that way. We'd rather you be comfortable. The girls walk around with, I don't know if you guys can see these, we got blankets. We're a 50-50 company. We have 50% girls, 50% boys, and all the girls are walking around with blankets on at all times, while the boys are in t-shirts and shorts. So you'll see.
And there's a reason for that. I mean, what's up with the blankets? Do they just get chilly? Do you keep the office that cold, or I guess it's Ohio, so it's cold.
It is Ohio, but the thing is we have what's called the swamp humidity. Ohio used to be part of the Great Lakes and just a swamp area, so it's extremely humid here. So it might be 80 degrees outside, but it's 90% humidity, or the hypothermia. Yeah. So the problem is it's the air conditioning. I'll just put it out there. It's the air conditioning, and the guys like it cold, the girls like it warm. So we have compromised by getting all the girls and guys, anybody that wants a blanket. But it's funny because you walk around and you'll come out of a meeting and there'll be 4 girls in blankets followed by 4 guys. And
That's fantastic. Hey, you know what? Well, while we're talking about it, are you guys hiring or anything like that? I mean, it sounds like you've got an excellent place to work. If somebody is interested and has got some skills that you might need, how might they get in touch with you?
Yeah, actually, you can email jobs@designingdigitally.com. Most of our jobs are put on ZipRecruiter. have our jobs slated for 2017, 2018. Right now, we're finishing up. Brittany has been our administrative assistant. She is now promoted to our marketing coordinator. So we're hiring an administration person, and this person, just so you know, is going to be doing more of like Abby is basically our director of contract management, and she's my wife, and she's been working here for 10 years. Whole other story we can get into. My wife works here, and she is now going to be having our second child in January, so we're actually going to be hiring an administration person to help her because Abby handles most of the finance and contracting work. So we'll be hiring for that, and then right after that, we're hiring for a project manager and an instructional designer. So we'll be hiring for those two positions, and then in 2018, we are hiring for another project manager. And another interactive media developer, and then finally, towards the end of 2018, another graphics person. So.
Yeah, you should get hooked up with Mike Lenz here, who is he's a voiceover guy. So if you got voiceover work, he's a good man to check out. There's also somebody else that does VO work. I think we have 2 or 3 different people who are part of the TLDChat community that do VO stuff. So.
If you guys want to, here's what we've done over time. We're constantly looking for VOs. We have on our website, and I will post it right now, a place where you can actually upload your examples, and you'll be put into our database for when we request the quotes. So we have a database that requests all of that kind of stuff. So give me just a second, and they're constantly going out. I don't handle any of that material. That's Nick Taylor. But I can get you guys the resource to the link. So give me just 2 seconds, and here it is in chat. And there it is, man.
Awesome. And we've got on the TLDC site, we've also got a jobs board up there. Now, I think we've had it for a while. So if you're ever looking and want to utilize that, feel free to post your jobs up there, because we're, part of what we do here with the community is helping to connect the, those looking to hire people and those looking to get hired. So anything we can do to help people out in their careers is why we're here. And so I know there's a lot of great folks that are a part of our community that do the hiring, and there's so many people who have such fantastic skills. So helping to make those connections is something we love to do here as well. So,
yeah, certainly especially for the jobs related to that, I can certainly provide you guys those. Especially for like our instructional designers, the first thing I can tell you is the number one thing is they will try to hire somebody brick and mortar, because since we are brick and mortar and things move so fast. Yep. There will be the need for that. And then second would be virtual. And I tell that to everyone just because we've seen the past history of people applying and then, getting in for an interview and then saying, oh, by the way, I'm looking this to be virtual. And we're like, it says on the description, like in the office. We need you in the office, yeah. Like no relocation assistance. So just keep that in mind. But outside of that, I'll certainly post those there.
Yeah, you never know who knows who, right? It may not be somebody may not be in your area, but they may know somebody who maybe is new or is looking for an opportunity in a great environment like yours. So I just always figure, the more people that know, the faster the word spreads to the right person. So
absolutely. And then another thing, I'll just leave it at this for anybody that does want to look at us. We're a profit sharing. So every year, a percentage of the profit goes back to the employees. And that's across the board. And we're also a democracy company. So while I am the sole owner, I only have one vote upon what we do. And the reason why is, that bonus at the end of the year significantly increases their annual income. So the decisions that we make as a team impact that. So we've made it a very different atmosphere than a lot of places that you may work.
That's fantastic. Gosh, I love that. That is, I did not know that about your business. Wow, you're awesome.
Yeah, man. We're
at it right now. You're awesome.
I appreciate it. I don't do a lot of it. I have people that are way more talented than I am. That's what I can tell you. And what I've done is just put ownership and the expectation and the understanding of what I'm trying to do, which, to be honest with you, the goal for us as designing digitally is to stop making learning so darn boring and actually making something that adults like to do. And make it innovative and creative, and make, not just with throwing gamification and leaderboards at things, actually looking at that fundamental reason why we're learning and finding out fun ways to make that learning enjoyable for people. And that's why we're doing this.
That's awesome. It's so awesome. So let's just shift gears a little bit here and talk about, well, first of all, it's 8:30. So let me take a quick break, because I like to take a break and give my guests the opportunity to, and I forgot to unfocus you. Sorry, everybody's just been staring at you the whole time. I'd like to just give you a chance to check out the chat, and feel free to take a minute or two to just chat with the folks in the chat while I take a minute to thank everybody for being such an active, fantastic part of TLDC and the community and the chat and everything else that we do here. Kara was here earlier. She had to bug out for a meeting, but she helps us out quite a bit. And Craig is here. Yay, Craig, taking fantastic notes and helping us with that at the end there, and getting those posted. We appreciate that. Craig's one of our awesome community members who has started a new gig, and so we're learning from him as well as he's going through that process. So to me, that's always one of the many fun, interesting things about being able to do this each morning. We've got so many people that are a part of the community that just coincidentally have just, for whatever reason, have just started new jobs, and either it's something they've never done before or something that's unique in a different industry. And so we get to learn along with them and hear about what they're doing and help, right? So it's kind of like you belong to the TLDChat and you start a new job, and it's like bringing along all your friends on your new job with you, and you've got a nice crew to bounce ideas off of and to help you, get situated in the new gigs. So, we love doing that because it goes both ways. I learned so much from everybody that's going through here. So just, all of you that just hang out and listen and soak stuff in and share in the chat. I had learned something new every single day myself as we have these conversations with great guests like Andrew and other guests, and just from watching the community and just seeing all of the great conversations that have been had. If you're somebody who's been hanging out and don't feel like you're getting that kind of experience, please reach out to me, or if you're not comfortable reaching out to me, you can reach out to anybody in the chat. That you like their comments and that you like what they're doing, and just say hi and just make that connection and say, hey, how can I get that value from TLDChat? And and they'll walk you through it, right, and tell you how to engage if this sort of live streaming collaborative community thing is is too new for you, and you're just kind of treading water here and feeling like it's a little bit overwhelming, which it can be, right? You got the chat going, you got the conversation going, you got videos going, and it's definitely different than a typical meeting or a conversation or a live networking event. But we like to think it's equally as valuable, if not more so, with all the capabilities that we have to share. So feel free to ask us and let us know what you need, what you want to get from a community like this. And we're here to help you get all of those things. And we're a global community as well. So Marco is our only resident UK community member here today. But normally we get a nice showing. And I must say, every once in a while, the Europeans get very close to outnumbering the folks from the US. So You know, it's you know, we might just go all European on you guys and just not have to worry about the U.S. anymore. Now that'll never happen, I guess. But you know, fun to have the crowd. We can't get the Aussies here. We have a lot of friends of TLDC in Australia as well, but it's like 2 a.m. there right now or something, so they're not going to be here. But big shout out to them as well. Good friends of the community and great to have as part of the chat and the community as well. So with that, I just wanted to say thanks. And if you really love what we're doing here and you really want to just dive a little bit deeper and just really sort of commit to being a part of the TLDC community, you know, go ahead and become a member, get a big discount on the event coming up in January, 29th and 30th. And, you know, help show your support for all of the work and the things that we do here. TLDChat is free. It will always be free. There will be no reason for us to ever charge for something like this, because this, in my mind, is the future. This is the future of conversations. It's the future of collaborating and connecting with your community of friends and colleagues, and being able to engage for just an hour a day, do some professional development, whatever you want to call it. I call it just talking shop. And you know, since it's morning here, it's a great way for me to start my day. For Mark and those of you over across the pond, it might be just a great way to wrap up your day, you know, kind of to wind down and relax a little bit. So anyways, with that, we will get back to our fabulous conversation with Andrew Hughes from Designing Digitally.
Hey, what's up, guys? I have a couple questions for the audience.
Oh, good. Go for it.
Okay, so for all of you that go to conferences and you get the PowerPoints from the presenters, how many of those end up on a coworker's desk?
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
That was an accident. I didn't mean to shoot you.
It's all right. I got my protective goggles on.
Nice. That's right. It's Eclipse Day. I forgot about that. All right.
Hey, man.
All right. So, so great question. So how many of you guys share those PowerPoint slides with your colleagues? How many of you get them to those you work with?
I guess it's a part that I'm always fascinated by what I consider to be the dust in the wind. And what I mean by that is you get that instruction, or you get that presentation, you get that PowerPoint, you take it back. What ends up happening to it? And be honest with yourself. Does it end up in just a folder and until the next conferences, or does it go anywhere? And I ask that just because I've always been very curious, because a lot of my job here is to question things, but also to do marketing. And I often wonder, when my presentations go out, does it actually get to someone else? And have I made an impact on somebody informally that I never knew about? And so, you know, that's what I always wondered is, does it end with you?
Yeah. And equally on the other side of that, so let's say you don't go to a conference, but you know your colleague just went to one. Do you request that they share some of the content with you? Or do you just kind of let it go and you just say, oh, I wish I would have gone. It sounds like it was a lot of fun, right? You know, yeah. A lot of times the events turn out to be just a boondoggle, you know, and I think that's events get a bad rap sometimes. And that's one of the things that we're trying to do here at TLDC as well, as you know, make sure that there is value. We like to follow up at the end. We like to do pre-event stuff, right? And know exactly what you're looking to get out of the event. And we like to make sure that you've gotten that. And if you didn't actually get it at the event, because events are short, I like to think that we've at least connected you with the right people that can get you what you need, and you've started to build those relationships, and that's a win as well. We got a lot of good answers coming in here.
I've always seen when I go, I learn a ton, but I know that just from my own personal experience, it sometimes can be very difficult. Like, I can send the resources to people, but unless you actually take the time to, what I consider, regurgitate it a little, looking at slides is very hard to just look at somebody else's slides out of context.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I just look at that and I'm often wondering, if there is a way or a structure or a process that could be used, that our community could come up with, that could kind of help. Yeah, because like we do have intentions, and the intentions are to take this data and information back. And I become more enlightened, but what I find is that sometimes human beings, we silo in our own brains. And so some of the expectations of I might be working with somebody here and like, oh well, I thought you knew there was structural and content gamification, and I'm over here going, well, it's because I've seen Dr. Kopp's presentations a half a dozen times. Now it's ingrained in my head. Of course that. But I'm siloed sometimes, and sometimes I recognize that maybe I don't even do it as well as I should, and bring that data back. So what ways, I guess, what ways could we improve our abilities to bring the data back from conferences?
Yeah, I think Dana makes a great point. I think more and more people are doing this. I'm seeing this a lot, and that is not necessarily the slides, but using social media. Like when a really good slide comes up, taking the phone out and taking a picture of it just immediately, right? Even during the presentation, and shooting that out via social media. And if you have a particular social channel that all of your employees or your colleagues are following while you're at the event, I think that helps amplify the message, right? It makes, this is why live blogging, I think, got so popular, and why I started doing it, because I kind of feel like I'm taking my community with me when I go somewhere. I know that not everybody can go to an event. And back in the early days, right, that's really all there really was blogging. And we hadn't quite mastered the art of taking photos and whatnot, but so I would just take notes, and then as soon as the event, even the presentation was over, I might take a picture and add it to the blog post or whatever, and then I just click publish, and boom, everything, all the notes that I took are live for anybody to see up on the blog very shortly after the session was done. I know not everybody ever picked that up as a practice, but that's one way.
Yeah, I like that way. I guess here's to put even more context, and why I bring this up is I have a lot of people that are working, insane 12 hours here, that are instructional designers, developers, so on and so forth. And so I can provide those tools, but the question is, am I doing it accurately? Am I doing the best thing for them to say, hey, Brent, or here, Mike, go read Brent's blog post? Or is that more like, hey, the fish are over there in the water, go ahead and look for them? So I often wonder if there were ways for our society to come up with that could help streamline that, because the other side of it is I live vicariously through you guys by reading your blog posts, because I'm very type A driven, want to know what I missed, while others are not interested. This is a job for them. So you have that other side of it that I guess is a good challenge that we may have, or a challenge or a task that a community could come up with a even more creative way of transferring that knowledge.
Yeah. Dana makes a great point. We never look at the PowerPoints again, because there's always a constant stream of great articles, right? Content is so readily available and constantly being created that it seems like if you get a PowerPoint presentation from a colleague, by comparison, it almost seems too late, too old school, too cumbersome, and not actually the most efficient thing. Like maybe you got the same content, maybe via a different source already. But to your point too about, especially within the workplace, even with good intentions, I think leadership sometimes will share too much stuff. And I think finger at self. Yeah. And those that are working for you, despite the fact that you've got a great democratic, a philosophy and work environment, people feel really obligated to engage with that, because if you feel like it's important for them to know it, they're going to want to take the time to do it. But then when they're already really overwhelmed or feeling overworked, and then there's all this other content coming in that they're expected to review and look at, I think that can sometimes feel difficult and a hard, it's a hard conversation to have, because you want to consume it, right? It's probably really good stuff, but it's making the time to do it, and you start to feel bad when you can't. And so I think there is a little bit of that social, the expectations issue that goes along with a lot of this stuff too.
You're dead on that one. And it's funny you say that, because while I get to add creativity to the projects, I'm not directly involved in production. So that means I'm looking at it from an outside standpoint. So the comments that you're making are very true. It's the equivalent to the sales team having the training director come tell them that they got to do this compliance training. To them, it's just in the way. You're giving me more in the way of the goals that I'm required to meet. And so there is that you're going to have to take time away from what they are doing currently to educate them on this material. So that's why I'm thinking the blogs and the material are really good. I'm wondering, what other things can we do to recoup our not our loss, but the investment of that conference, and bringing that back to the rest of the team in a cost-effective way. Because like you're saying, you pay $2,000 to attend the conference and you come back, that's $2,000 worth of knowledge and data and information you have. That you start dividing that, you provide that knowledge to 3 other people, it's now $500 per person. You provide that to 10 people, that's $20 per person for that knowledge.
Well, yeah, and especially, so here's even the kicker, right? I mean, it's even, I think, a little bit more exponential than that, because with the person at the event now has already done the curation, right? They've already, gotten the information. They've whittled down 2.5 days or 2 days, whatever the event is, down to just what they think were the most important items. So when the people the office get it, they don't have the same amount of opportunity cost spent, because now that big giant event and all the content that was there has already been curated down to just what the person that went felt was going to be the most important to share back with everybody that's there. So that minimizes it as well. So I think there's that other value add and that benefit to it as well. And it's interesting. I hear you talking about that, and all I can think of to do is to shift into my EdCast pitch and how it solves this particular problem. But I'm very
do it.
I'm holding back. Just hook up with me offline if anybody wants to know what I was thinking back at 47 minutes and 12 seconds in the recording, and then you can hit me up if you want to know. But I won't go into pitch mode here just yet, but just know that my wheels were spinning and I can help.
That's how we plan, man. Hey, so everybody knows today's the first day of the semester. So the rest of the afternoon, my phone will be blowing up like crazy.
Because that's right, because you teach. That's right.
Yeah. So I'm a professor at the University of Cincinnati. I have 3 courses this semester: 2 digital tech and business, and sales 101. So I get to teach those, and it starts today. And all 3 of them are online because I have an amazing program chair, or multiple program chairs, and we really have embraced online learning at University of Cincinnati. So I get them all 3 online. But that means my phone is ringing nonstop. Well, both phones are ringing nonstop on that first Monday. And it's always a question for all of you: how do I get the book? And that is explained on the second announcement in the class.
That's always the number 1 question, right? On day 1, right?
Number 1 question.
Yeah. And you know what? Andrew, you got to get connected with Mike. Mike has a fantastic podcast called The Catalyst Sale. He is a fantastic magician at the sales cycle and helping people level up and do all that business stuff and how to get value from that. So if you want to, share that with your students as well, as a place to learn and engage. He's doing some fantastic stuff there. So I'll throw a quick shout out to Mike.
Mike, if you ever want to nerd it up, man, let me know. So we didn't primarily talk about it, but my primary role here is sales and marketing. So I obviously am the face of designing digitally, but I run a sales staff of 4, and then we have a marketing team now. So we are that's primarily what I do, and then I teach business at the University of Cincinnati. So that's a lot of what I get to. I don't get to do fun stuff anymore. So that's the downfall. I don't get to build anything anymore. Well, I get to build stuff, but it's all marketing related. I don't get to do it.
You don't get to use Unity as much as you'd like to, right?
Oh my God, I get so jealous when I go up there. Like I really do, like truly get jealous of them. And sometimes I'm just like, where did it all go wrong?
Well, hey, you know what? You did something right. I got to tell you, you guys do some of the best stuff, some of the best e-learning, the best online training stuff that I've ever seen have come out of your shop, dude. So I give you major kudos and props.
That's the team. That's the team. They have worked together. There's a lot of, blood, sweat, tears, arguments that go into it. But the other side of it, and I tell everybody the first day that they start here, in society today, we no longer, Brett and I don't have to go hunting for buffalo or for woolly mammoths while the ladies are building us baskets and the kids are weaving things. And we don't do that anymore. What we have to do is provide services that our organization have a tried and true talent at, and provide those services so that customers continue to have us do it and come back. And that in turn provides the lifestyle of everyone that lives here. And in all retrospect, if they don't have that bigger picture understanding, because I'm not rolling around some rich guy driving some Porsche. I am just an average guy with an average weight, just like they do. And so they have to be with an understanding of the greater good if they're going to work here, because we have to be able to provide those solutions that will provide their livelihood and their standard of living. And so that has made it to where the team really pumps out some amazing stuff, because they know that their future involves the outcome of our customers' work.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We're approaching the top of that hour, though, and I'm going to have to say goodbye, Andrew.
Understood, man.
You and I could geek out all day long. I know it. So which is why it's always fun to have you back. So I appreciate you taking the time, especially after just coming back from vacation. Your inbox must be packed, your phone ringing off the hook. I really appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us.
Makes you feel any better. I shut them all off. So that's why nothing. I was like, we're just going to go ahead and kill the phones. And no, it's not that bad. I appreciate it very much, man. And hopefully next time, if you guys want to nerd it up about anything, let me know. I love to have those interesting conversations about here, there, and everything. There's a couple conversations I want to get into, cool. And I'll leave us with these for later. The state of XAPI. I would like to talk about how people evaluate success with inside of their training, both analytically and informally. Okay. How are they ensuring that their training is aligned with the business practices? What are we doing to make that happen? Because ultimately it comes down to making money for the business, and that's truly what it's about. And then I'd also like to talk about what tools do we think we're lacking now that we're in this rift of HTML5 and Flash being dead, and what are we missing? What are we lacking? And those are some of the conversations I think I'd like to have conversations about those later. Fantastic.
Great ones. And we'll put those on the list, and we'll make sure you're either back here as a guest helping us through that conversation. Maybe what we can do is set up a panel. Anthony is well connected to the XAPI world, and so maybe we can get the two of you on at the same time, and we can
buddy.
You guys can facilitate that conversation and whatnot. So we will definitely do that. So thanks again. I'm gonna go ahead and just close out your video here, but you'll still be on. You can say a couple of remarks or answer some folks if you want to in the chat real quick, or drop any sort of information you want to, your links, anything like that. But again, thank you, Andrew. I really appreciate it. It's good to see you.
Likewise, man. I'm glad you're back. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Yeah. Take care. All right, everybody. Hey, thank you so much to Andrew Hughes for being here today and being our guest on a Monday morning. A fantastic way to start the week. I am so glad we had such a good guest because, yeah, last week was complicated to say the least. And so it was a great, great conversation to start the week. I'm already feeling great about it on this eclipse day. Actually, we've got a bunch of kids from the high school coming over. I hear the door opening and closing, and so they're all here with their glasses on, and we're having a little eclipse party, I think. Not that I can partake, but they'll all be here. So I hope everybody is safe today. Don't look at the sun unless you got the fancy special glasses on. And it's educational. So get on out there and learn some things and learn about all of the sun stuff that you need to learn about. So anyways, great crew today. Thanks everybody for hanging out today. Tons and tons and tons of fun. I am not going to be here Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, but I'll be doing hopefully it's still a lot of social media stuff. Might do some live streaming, maybe some periscoping stuff, maybe just some maybe a Facebook Live thing or two. Not exactly sure yet, but I'll be at the Future Learning 2020 Summit in Santa Clara, California, at Wednesday, Thursday this week, and then I'll be staying for a sales meeting on Friday. So we'll be having some folks filling in, but which means that those shows will be even better because it always seems to go better when I'm not here, and I'm trying not to take that personally. But you guys that help out so much are awesome, and we really appreciate you guys. Helping to keep the daily TLD chat rocking strong. So always appreciate that. Again, thank you guys so much for hanging out today. Become a member if you can, and be sure to hit up the TLDC18.com website as well. Hope you guys have a great day today, and we will see you tomorrow morning. Adios.